What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog, back in Standard here with a Naya kind of a Landfall deck. So here we're kind of focused on Felidar Retreat. It's 4-mana enchantment. Whenever land enters, you can make a 2/2 beast token, cat beast token, or you can put a +1 counter on creatures you control, and those creatures gain Vigilant until end of turn. Alright, so Naya gives us some pretty fun options, especially in terms of the Landfall trigger. Not really running any of the spell lands, because we want to have as many actual basic lands and just kind of lands and natural lands in general, so we can actually get hit those landfall triggers, because I feel like there's definitely some tension when you try to run like those dual-faced lands, you know, those MDFCs, I guess. So we're not really running any of those, and not really too sure how well some of them would even fit in here, so we're keeping it pretty straightforward here. So we've got 3 Thundering Rebukes. Since we are more of a mid-rangey deck, we want some early interaction, so Thundering Rebuke is probably your better option than like a Royal Eruption or something like that, because 4 toughness is pretty good, so hitting 4 damage to creatures or planeswalkers. Definitely gotta love that. 3 copies here of Lotus Cobra, 3 copies of Murasa Rootgrazer. They both kind of fill a similar function. Cobra kind of ramps us up. Rootgrazer helps us hit our landfall triggers, because we can bounce lands back to our hand and then replay them, or play basic lands from our hand onto the battlefield. So we can do this even on our opponent's turn. We can just you know, they go to attacks, we can you know, maybe even block and then play a land and get our Felidar Retreat trigger, and then put a counter on the Grazer, and then maybe it becomes a 3/4 and it kills something. Maybe we can do this and make a 2/2 and chump block something. So there's some cool things you can do with that. But we do kind of need to make room for the removal and have both of these in, so that's why we're just running 3 of, just to kind of make room to run all 3 of these cards. 3-drop slot is a little bit heavy here. We have 3 Banishing Lights, just trying to give us some main deck flexible removal here. Exile as well can be pretty important. Broken Wings, also some additional ways to kind of deal with artifacts, enchantments, and creatures with flying. So it kind of fills a similar role to Banishing Light, but they both kind of give us some, so they kind of overlap a little bit, but they kind of work in different ways. So I think it's worth taking a look at a couple of Broken Wings here for some additional flexible removal. 3 Llanowar Visionary. Obviously 2/2 that draws you a card and ramps you up. Something like that fits in pretty well, since we have some top end here. Play this on 3, then turn 4 we have potentially 5 mana open to us, and we have a lot of important 5 drops you might want to get to. 2 copies here of Radha. She helps us hit our land drops, since we are more mid-rangey, kind of help you get the additional landfall triggers. And also kind of a mana sink once you have 6 or more lands to you know, activate her ability. All 4 Felidar Retreats, of course. Then we got 3 Yasharn, Implacable Earth, 4 mana, 4/4. When enters, we search for basic forest, basic plains, reveal them, play them on our hand, shuffle our library. Also, players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. So I remember during the previous season, somebody mentioned that this where Terror of the Peaks work extremely well together, but I haven't actually seen anybody try to play around with them, so that's also kind of one of the synergies here we're trying to play around with. Yasharn obviously helps us dig for lands out of our library, to help us find more, you know, hit more landfall triggers, things like that. And since we're kind of leaning pretty heavily into white and green anyway, just kind of splashing red for a little bit of removal, the Radha and the Terror of the Peaks. Yeah, Yasharn works fantastic because we're pretty heavily into white and green. Anyway, Terror of the Peaks, of course, works with Yasharn because we have this out on the battlefield. Then we play Yasharn, then we can deal 4 damage to our opponent. Then we get some lands, we can get some landfall triggers, we can make 2/2s that trigger our Terror of the Peaks and do additional damage to any target. Pretty fantastic. I don't think let me backtrack here. So the Yasharn Terror of the Peaks synergy. Terror of the Peaks says whenever your spells your opponents cast, the target Terror of the Peaks costs additional 3 life to cast. Well, this says you can't pay life to cast spells or activate abilities. So in other words, they can't kill your Terror of the Peaks. At least not with single target removal. So that's the synergy there. And otherwise, the Terror of the Peaks synergy, of course, with Felidar Retreat. It's pretty sweet. And Ashaya here as well. She'll get you your landfall triggers with the Felidar Retreat, because all of your creatures are now forests in addition to their other types. And this gets power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. So that includes creatures, including itself, because any non-token creature is a forest. So that means Ashaya as well is a forest. Speaking of forest, we got Beanstalk Giant, helps you dig for forest and any other basic library for 3 mana. It's a little bit of a ramp package, since we are trying to get up to 4 or 5 mana, and then it becomes a super big creature with all those landfall triggers we're trying to make. We're having a lot of land on the battlefield, and then we'll have a pretty big Beanstalk Giant to kind of help us get through. Also, really great to trigger our Terror of the Peaks, potentially one-shot kill our opponent for a really big threat here. Especially if you have two of these out and you make like a 10-10 or something like that, then boom, that's just like 20 damage right there. But probably won't come to that because we have lots of other ways to kind of ping down our opponent's life total. Mana base here, we got 4 plains, 3 mountain, 5 forests, 2 pathways, 1 Temple of Abandon, 2 Needleverge Pathways, 1 Temple of Triumph, 2 Branchloft Pathways, and then the 4 Fabled Passages, of course, are amazing in a Landfall deck. Sideboard here, we got a couple Soul Guide Lanterns for Graveyard interaction, 2 Fire Prophecies to kind of help us out with the aggro matchups, 3 Shatterskull Chargers coming against control, because we can just play this as a 3-mana 4/3 trample haste, have it bounce back to our hand, and then our opponent can't board wipe us. 2 Klothys, some additional graveyard hate, but also the incremental 2 damage and 2 life gain can be pretty important against a variety of matchups as well. Even against aggro, that 2 life gain can be pretty important, and we can definitely get to devotion here with Klothys as well. 2 Shatter the Skies, since we do have the Lotus Cobras and the Grazer and things like that in the early game, but a lot of times those might not be good enough against certain matchups. So we can kind of slow roll some of those, maybe play 1 or 2 of those out just to kind of keep our opponent committing to the board and kind of give us a little bit of defense as well. And then we can just Shatter the Sky, and by then we might not even care about our Cobra or things like that anymore. Our Llanowar Visionary has already drawn us a card, things like that. So definitely need Shatter the Skies to deal with our opponents, Scoot Swarm or any kind of aggro deck that they're trying to do. Quest and Beast might be the better card to run here, but I'm going to run Cragplate Baloth. Just seemed like a lot of time when I was testing this, I came up against like control decks, and obviously they can still counter a Quest and Beast, but this can't be countered, even though it is like 7 mana, which is pretty steep. But we are a landfall deck, so we should be able to kind of ramp into this. So that's why I'm comfortable running the Baloth here instead of like Quest and Beast, but kind of depends on your preference and what you have in your collection. This is a rare, so you might not have a couple of these just yet. So if not, just run Quest and Beast because you probably have some of those by now. 2 copies of Purphoros Intervention gives us some scalable removal. We're hitting all these landfall triggers, so the X can get to be pretty big, and even if we don't have anything to kill at the time, or if our opponent's just low enough life total, we can just make a big X1 creature with trample haste and potentially kill our opponent with the token. So that's the deck. We're jumping to some matches. Alright, against Hyro of Isildur 7. Video game reference or something, maybe? We are on the draw. We have removal and Cobra. So we'll try it. This is Yasharn. Do need some lands, though. Do need some lands. Alright, Scavenging Ooze. I'll probably deal with that. Looks like it's just mono green aggro or mid-range here. See what they got. If it's a Trail of Crumbs, we got the Broken Wings. We don't have any value yet for this Cobra, so we'll just do that and pass turn. So next turn we have Yasharn. We can crack this Fabled Passage, grab a white mana source. Quest and Beast. We'll have to exile that, unfortunately. Or we can rebuke it as well. So I think we can do Yasharn and actually, I think we're 1 mana short, aren't we? We are. Oh no, we have yeah, Rebuke. There we go. Perfect. I don't know, I was thinking Banishing Light for 3 mana. We had the Rebuke in hand. Perfect. Alright, so Broken Wings not looking too good here, although they're Castle Garenberg, maybe. This is a food deck. Assume we would have seen something by now, though. So next turn we I wanted to Felidar Retreat, but I guess we have to deal with this. Nah. Let's block. Let's trade. Ranger's Guile. Wow, you got me, opponent. You sure did get me. Alright, we got Radha and we got Banishing Light. Alright, they were going to protect their beast either way there, so we got rid of that one. So 2 questing beasts down, 2 more to go. I guess it's more mid-rangey if they're running Ranger's Guile. Not sure what the Fabled Passage is for if you're in a mono green list. Unless you have landfall triggers. Oh, well, there goes. No, they need to mutate. So we got another Radha on top. Don't love that. Let's see here. No. So we need to do you first. And you. And you. Say no tax. They attack. I think we just take it. So they could have another Gem Razor mutate on top of this and blow up both of our enchantments, which would be pretty bad. Alright, they got a X-Spell or something. No, they got another one, so it's going to blow up both of our enchantments. And we're drawn into a Radha next turn. That's pretty bad. So they get their questing beast back. And we lost our Felidar Retreat. So, yeah, main deck enchantment hate. Sucks. That's what I get for trying to play this in the competitive queue. That's why I stick to unranked. Huh. Now bring an intervention for some removal. I don't feel like this deck is quite good enough to be competitive, but yeah, we can temple here. Sure, we'll take that. Let's play this on green into Cobra and go from there. See, green has lots of good answers for enchantments, and we definitely want to get value off our Felidar's Retreat. We do have the Rebukes to kind of give us some actual kill spells. Search for a Forester. Some more land triggers. Do we want to exile that? We could. Not sure it's worth Banishing Light as Scavenge News, especially with nothing in the yard. So we'll save our removal for their bigger threats. I think we might should be able to Beanstalk Giant next turn. See, we have 4, 5. play a 5/5 Beanstalk Giant. Can always block their Gem Razor here. They'll probably just have a Questing Beast though. Though if they did, they probably just auto fired off. Not sure what they had to think about there. What are you attacking with? Not attacking with anything? We'll kill both of their things, and then we're just left with Shatter the Sky. Alright, do it while they're tapped out. Swing for 10, put them down to 4. If they just Questing Beast here, they're dead. Playing out the Mammoth, and you have a Lovestruck Beast token. Nope, you have a 2-drop. Scavenging Ooze. Stone Coil for 2. You got it. Well, we're swinging home. You got to block the Giant. I guess you block Mammoth on Giant and trade with a Cobra here. Or, yeah. Block Mammoth on Cobra and then Stone Coil. Yep. I knew what I was trying to say, it just came out backwards. The opponent did it correctly. Don't really need these landfall triggers. So we're in a pretty commanding spot. We do have the Shadow Sky if they are able to somehow stabilize. Shadow the Sky will be definitely pretty clutch here in game 3. I guess with Mammoth, the Fabled Passage makes sense. So you can hit me for 7. 2 cards in hand. Got 2 creatures here. Guess they could mutate and blow up our Banishing Light, and they'll get 2 creatures back. Inscriptions. They got to gain 9 life. That's a pretty good turn. That is pretty good. And they even go for the attack. So they must have something juicy in hand. Once again, they're down to 2. You have another inscription, or you're holding the land in hand. Okay. I guess if it is an inscription, then we're just dead here. Looking at our Grazer. Dude, if you got it, just play it. I hate when people slow roll, like, come on. I have to block here. You got Trample. Okay, dude. I don't understand what that was all about. You showed us you had a Rangers guy. Oh, cool. You want these Fire Prophecies? They do deal with the Mammoth, though. And Stone Coil. Banishing Light not as good. Alright, we'll leave our 2-drops in. Try to get some value, or at least blocks. Bring in the Fire Prophecy to hit Mammoth. Maybe a Stonecoil Serpent before it gets any bigger. Shave off an Ashaya because it is a legendary, and a Banishing Light since they have so much. I shouldn't say so much, but it seems like they always seem to find their enchantment hate. So. Yeah, it's crazy just how versatile mono green is and continues to be. Alright, finally seeing Terror of the Peaks. 4 copies and can't find it till game 3. Land, perfect. There's a white source. We got the Beanstalk Giant to get a white source and don't really have anything besides the... this is a white-red one, so yeah, we're pretty well covered either way. We got Forest Mountain in hand, so we can play that as a white source now. If they give us a Prophecy target, it's Radha. Okay, so we got a land next turn. Questing Beast. Gemraiser. Another land. So we'll play this on white as well. Oh, we're getting a plains. We'll just play it. Now we can block a Questing Beast. We have red in hand, so it doesn't really matter too much. And we'll discard plains. That's fine, we'll get it out of our deck. Next turn we'll Felidar Retreat plus Fabled Passage. Try to. Or we could just Terror of the Peaks, since they're not really doing a whole lot against us. Okay, not attacking. So maybe we just Terror here. Yeah, no attacks. I like to find a Rebuke to deal with the Gemraiser so they don't get too much value off of it. Of course, we're getting close to a hard casting a Beanstalk Giant, so we're not doing terrible. Okay, Questing Beast with 3 manas open. If they attack, I'll definitely block with my Yasharn. See if they have another creature here. Stonecoil, Ooze, Mammoth, Ranger's Guile. Yeah, I don't think that was worth it. I'll take 5 here. I'll absolutely take 5. You got 2 manas open. What are you gonna do? Got a Primal Might. Haven't seen that from them yet, but I would assume they're running it. It's pretty good removal. We definitely want our Terror of the Peaks to survive, but if they do have removal, then Terror probably just dies. Letting the manas go to waste. No blocks. Alright, so we do have a plains on top, but don't necessarily want that anyway, so Fabled Passage, make a 2/2. Questing Beast. Red, I guess. 2/2. We'll swing those 2. If they block a Radha, we'll Fire Prophecy it and pitch this forest. We got first strike. Bye bye. Alright, so they'd have to find a Gemraiser and, or do they find a creature here and a way to mutate on top of it? I got 8 manas here. Migratory Greathorn and Gemrazor. Ho ho. Whew. So even if they target our Felidar Retreat with a Gemrazor or something, we still had Beanstalk Giants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 either way. So we got a Beanstalk Giant coming down, blowing them up for 7. Swinging. Well, probably just attack all. That's if they didn't have a way to deal with our Terror of the Peaks. And if they didn't have a way to deal with, obviously, the Felidar Retreat, then they're pretty much just dead there, because we can just put counters on everything, play a creature, get the trigger. So yeah, mono green, pretty versatile, pretty solid deck, and we were able to take it down with a kind of bit of a jank here. That means Zatrini. So we are pretty heavy on 3 drops, but they'll kind of fit our ramp strategy, so it's fine. We do need a red source here, so I think I'm actually going to lead on Fabled Passage. As much as I'd rather save that to get some landfall triggers, we don't have anything in hand that we can even be sure to do that with. Oh, Swamp. So here comes removal.deck. We got mountains, so we can Radha on 3, I guess. Just run all of our basics out. Probably just Visionary, that way we can draw a card and they can just kill it if they want. Next one we got Yasharn, then we get some value out when it enters as well. Just try to thin the deck and kind of set us up for better draws, since this could be a little bit of a longer game. They haven't played any creatures yet, and they're in apparently mono black. Alright, so we need Broken Wings. So we got Fabled Passage. We'll save that for Felidar Retreat or some landfall shenanigans. Right, so we have 7 cards in hand now. Revenge of Ravens. So we definitely need some enchantments here, please. Gonna rot it down, try to dig for some lands. Jeez. Rebuke. They're gonna gain 2. I think that's fine. So we got a lot of lands in hand. So let's see, we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So next turn we can Beanstalk Giant. Seems pretty good. We need some more red sources at some point to potentially cast a Terror of the Peaks, but we're drawing a Rebuke next turn. So they get a 2/2 that slows us down. There is the Terror of the Peaks. Wow. In that case, I think I'd rather just, well, yeah, I still think we do this, though. Just get some more lands onto the battlefield. Or, no, play you. And we can blow this one up. So we take 3. God, Revenge of Ravens is so annoying to play against. Oh, they milled one. They're going to make a 2/2 here. So they're actually Orzhov, it looks like. Savai Triumph. Oh, Doom Foretold. That's so clever. Well, now we can just kill them with Terror of the Peaks unless they have some removals. Another land, Jesus. Yeah, let's keep their life total low. Try to keep them in check. Alright, put them down to 7, and then a Beanstalk Giant just kills them unless they can kill our Terror of the Peaks. Okay. Do you have removal here? Heartless Act? No? No Heartless Act, opponent? Come on. Oh, gosh. Obviously, Broken Wings, pretty clutch. Fortunately, that's our only enchantment interaction. Wonder if they actually sideboard in creatures. So we know we're running the Timuret. I mean, these can trample through them. Just wonder if Prophecy or Intervention is worth it. Because if we don't need the Intervention to take out a token, we can always just make a big token of our own. Or we can just trample over their token to maybe finish them off. So Banishing Light and Wings will kind of be our ways to deal with their Underworld Dreams, Revenge of Ravens. Not too worried about Underworld Dreams. I mean, obviously they're probably running Peer into the Abyss. Pretty annoying combo. We do have a Broken Wings, but we are missing another land. We're on the draw. Alright, lands. Not a land. Alright, play a forest. Probably need to play this on white just to get a grazer down. And we just need some lands here, please. Oh boy. Alright, getting punished against a deck that naturally likes to punish. But Terror of the Peaks with Ashaya could be pretty amazing. Sanctum. Oh, there's a land. We have Broken Wings now. Do I care about these Sanctums? Sanctums are annoying. Sanctums are definitely annoying. Euphemia. Land? Are you serious? Oh boy. All three Ashayas. Feels bad, man. Oh, if we find untapped land, definitely going to fire off this Yasharn. Doom Foretold. Alright. Oh, we got stuck on lands. They found the Doom Foretold. I'm not going to grind this one out. Alright, let's leave in a little bit of removal, since you know they're running Euphemia. So we'll get the Fire Prophecies here. Also fixes our draws if we are stuck with the Ashaya or something in hand without lands to cast it. Missing white, but we have Cobra here. They don't seem to have a lot of spot removal, so we'll give it a try here. So we can actually Cobra into Yasharn if they don't kill our Cobra. Now we got the Banishing Light. Alright, we're still going to fire off this Yasharn. Save Banishing Light for maybe a Revenge of Ravens or something. There's the plains. Alright, so now we just need a red source so we can Terror the Peaks. We have one, so any land we can actually make it go for red and then play terror. Oh, so they're running removals. Down goes the Yasharn. Well, that was a mistake. You got another Murderous Rider? Do you have another Murderous Rider? Oh, Terror of the Peaks? Oh, seriously? We didn't see any, and now you have them. Oh, man. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Alright, we have a Shatterskull Charger here, though. Hitting you for 7. So if they just play a Murderous Rider, they're effectively at 4? They do. They don't have anything in hand? Really? Really, opponent? Okay, goodbye. Whew. Got there against the janky Doom Foretold Shrines list. Be pretty impressive if they get their setup going, but we're able to grind through it. So yeah, obviously try to dodge some enchantment hate so we get some value off Felidar Retreat and of course Banishing Light. Porky Parrot. Oh, we got a Zendikar pack. Let's do a pack opening. Let's celebrate. That was pretty sweet. Got a couple wins in ranked, which is again with what's mostly jank deck. Well, we've reached the gem portion of Zendikar Rising, even though there's still so many rares and mythics that we don't have in our collection. But I guess we have mostly one of at least. Alright, well, Naya Retreat. Obviously the Felidar Retreat, super strong card. You know, when it was spoiled, it was kind of hard to really say how good this card would be. But yeah, it's obviously done a lot of work helping make Omnath broken. And Omnath has been banned. It's still a pretty solid card. I mean, you have nice support with Yasharn and things like that to kind of help you get landfall triggers. Murasa Rootgrazer, which I can't seem to say straight. Beanstalk Giant here as well, digging for lands. Ashaya, making all of your creatures into lands, landfall triggers. And both of these just being really huge in general, getting value off your Terror of the Peaks. So obviously we're not doing the Genesis Ultimatum thing, where we just cast it for 7 and then hope we find a Terror of the Peaks and then just flood the board with a bunch of creatures all at once and kind of one-shot kill our opponent. We can kind of just grind away at them a little bit more. Felidar Retreat is pretty sweet though, making 2/2s with Terror of the Peaks or just making your creatures bigger and just killing your opponent with what you already have on board. Banishing Light, obviously, as an enchantment, is a little bit susceptible to your opponent's interaction. You know, things like Mortify have already rotated, but it seems like there's still lots of enchantment hate. Gem Razor is still heavily played. So that's why we're kind of running the Broken Wings to kind of help us kind of get around that. It obviously doesn't hit everything that Banishing Light can do, but it does give us some hard removal against the you know, things that can be hard for us to deal with, or we don't want to deal with. Same thing here with Thundering Rebuke. 4 damage seems like it's pretty much in the sweet spot for a lot of things. Obviously, Elder Gargoth is a thing. We're running Beanstalk Giant and Ashaya, so that's why we got the Purphoros Intervention, because with all of our landfall triggers, we can pretty much hit any big thing our opponent does with this. We also have the Shatter the Skies that can help us clean up against those matchups as well. A little bit light on, you know, obviously enchantment hate, but we do have the Banishing Lights to kind of catch-all removal. And then Broken Wings are the specific hate for those kind of things, so we can kind of pick off an Embercleave or an Annex, you know, things like that. So we have, you know, we have a good variety of answers here for a variety of matchups. Just kind of, if you can survive long enough to get your engine going. But even then, you know, like Radha, Terror of the Peaks, Beanstalk Giant, just playing kind of the creature package alone is pretty solid. And then with the Cobra kind of helping you ramp up a little bit, even the Visionary as well, and Radha kind of digging for lands with landfall triggers. It's pretty sweet things you can do with this, and I feel pretty good with where the mana base is at. Not budget friendly, lots of rares and mythics and things like that, but probably starting to acquire a lot of these cards already, so it's definitely a good way to abuse landfall triggers and kind of a little bit of different package than you normally see. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, make sure you jank with purpose.